right here, Danielle, they'll be weirded out.
Okay. Just on the web
This
box.
chair is awesome.
It's much better than it's too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
it
knees,
was.
my knees lock, the old knees lock up on me.
Good morning, would you please introduce yourself and spell your last name for the record?
Sure, my name is Bryce Summerstein, Summerstein.
And what do you do for work, Ms. Anderson?
I'm the owner of Security Litigation Solutions.
And have you always been the owner of Security Litigation Solutions?
No, so I was a security guard for about 2 years, and then I was a patrol officer for 4 years. And while working for the Steelton Police Department, I was part of the Homicide Task Force for 4 years. And now I've owned this company for about 5 years.
Did you get any education in order to do all of those things?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree at Steelton Tech.
Now, why are you here today?
I was asked to review the documents, depositions, exhibits in this case, and determine whether Simon Properties, which is the Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor, knew or should have known that the visitors were subject to attack on their property.
Okay, now you mentioned that you reviewed some documents. What documents did you review?
Sure, so I reviewed the deposition of Bobby Daly, the deposition of Tracy Scooter Simon, Christy Fulatanova, who's an employee at that evening, exhibits, advertisements, there was a police report involved in this case, and then a diagram of the scene specifically that night of the attack.
Now, did you have enough information to form an opinion?
Yes, I did.
Before we get to that opinion, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the game Chase-Up. Are
Sure.
you familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
Would you tell the jury a little bit about that game?
Sure, so it's a game that's popular amongst young adults and children. Basically, it's a game that you play on your phone, and you could go to certain locations to get these chase of monsters. And I guess if you get a certain number of monsters, you get points. So it seems to be a fun game for young adults to play.
And are you do you know when the game came out?
I'm sorry?
Do you know when the game came out?
I'm not sure about that.
Ms. Overstein, are you familiar with Scooter's Ice Cream Parlor?
Yes, I am. It's in the Steelton area, and based on my review of everything in this case, I'm aware of how their business runs.
And can you tell us about what you've learned about Scooters and the chasing game?
Sure. So, basically before the chasing game came out and before Scooters, was advertised as a chase place, it seemed that they weren't doing too well. And from my understanding, once they had the advertisement and that they advertised it was a chase place, business tended to be doing better.
Okay, now you mentioned a advertisement.
Yes.
Permission to approach. Did you read that?
I put it back in my packet, sorry.
No, that's okay. The advertisement. Is that the advertisement that you reviewed in anticipation of your testimony today?
Yes, it is.
Now, based on your review of the record, were you able to determine who saw these ads?
Yes, well, it was advertised outside their shop, so anybody could see it.
Okay, and was this the only advertisement that you're aware of?
Yes, it's the only advertisement that I reviewed.
Are you sure about that?
What else did I review?
Newspaper articles.
Oh, the newspaper articles, but those weren't displayed.
Okay.
Sorry.
Are newspaper articles simply displayed to the public?
Yes, of course, anybody can read a newspaper article.
Now, Ms. Ornstein, to your knowledge, alright, I'd like to turn your attention now to this property at Scooter's Ice Cream itself.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the area in which Scooter's is located?
Yes, I'm familiar with Steelton area. I worked in the police department for many years, so I've been very familiar with the neighborhood and the crime in the area.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that you were a security officer as well as a police officer. What are some things that a reasonable business could do in order to protect their patrons?
Sure. So business such as Scooters can do numerous things. They can install cameras, which they did in this case. They can hire security guards, especially for an area that seems that has had crime in the past. Additionally, they can have the property. There should be lighting around the property. Yeah.
Okay. Would it assist in your testimony in explaining those things if you could step down and make use of the chalk?
Sure. Yes.
Thanks. Pen. Okay, Miss Summerstein, you said a bunch of things there. Maybe you could title this safety. Now, some of those things you mentioned, the first thing you said was cameras. Write down camera stuff. Based on your review of the record, did Scooters have cameras on June 6, 2015?
Yes, they did. Outside of the car shop.
Okay, and what, if anything, did you notice about those cameras?
So I noticed the cameras were outside, so they were visible. They were facing the parking lot, but the cameras were only can only see what happened in the parking lot, not any of other sides of the building.
Okay, and based on your experience, is that effective?
Not in this case especially, no. The camera should have been facing the sidewalk area too, as it is part of Scooter's property, so it should have not just been in the parking lot. But that sidewalk area as well, and even in the back of Scooter's.
Now, another thing you mentioned was that Scooters could have hired a security guard.
Yes.
You said that.
Yes.
Right. You can write that down. What would be the purpose of a business hiring a security guard?
Just have an individual standing at the door and outside, just being aware of what is going on outside the shop. Obviously, there was an employee present in this case, but she was inside working. Of course, there was nobody outside to see what was going on.
Now, so just to reiterate, there was no security guard working on June 6, 2015?
No, there was not. No security guards.
Okay, and another thing you mentioned was there was only one employee working, or that you could hire more employees, sorry, when there's bigger crowds. So you can bring down more employees. And what would be the purpose of hiring more employees on the night of June 6th?
Well, especially in this case because Scooters was becoming so popular because of the game Chase. One employee is certainly not enough to control that many people. So, especially in this case, I think there should have been more than just one employee, especially she was a 17-year-old girl. There should have been more employees working that night specifically.
Are you aware of how many people were in the shop that night?
About 100 according to the other testimony.
Yeah, based on your review of the record. Okay. Now, you can take your seat. Thank you. Okay, Miss Summerstein. Based on your training, your knowledge, training, experience, and review of the record here today, were you able to come to an opinion with a reasonable degree of professional certainty as to whether or not the property at Scooters was safe on June 6, 2015?
Yes, I was able to come to an opinion.
And what is that?
So essentially, Scooters advertised itself as a chase place for this chase and game, and invited the public and people of Steelton to their store. They're basically signaling to the public that a lot of people not paying attention playing the game would be there. While the store had cameras, in some places they were not adequately covering the property and the whole property. And I think it's really important that there was only one employee working that time with about 100 people there, and there was no security guard. So essentially, the property was not safe enough, and ultimately, scratch my list.
What happened as a result?
As a result of this, Bobby Daly was viciously attacked on June 6th, and unfortunately suffered some serious injuries because of that.